Well, it's that time of year where we need to look at the new laws taking effect in 2024. And we have several resources for you to use to prepare. More on that in a bit. There are two categories of new statewide laws that we will focus on. Those that were signed into law in previous years but have phased-in implementation taking place in 2024, and those that were just signed into law this year and take effect in 2024. For instance, SB 1383 was signed into law back in 2016 and applied to other industries first, but now it's time for certain restaurants and others to gear up for a January 1st compliance. This law is focused on food waste and requires commercial edible food generators to contract with a food recovery organization to donate leftover or unsold edible food. The law first applied to larger grocery stores, wholesale food vendors, and food distributors in 2022. The next phase applies to restaurants, hotels, hospitals, state cafeterias, large entertainment venues, and schools. The underlying law is intended to reduce short-lived climate pollutants from organic waste through the increased recycling of organic waste and repurposing of edible food for human consumption. For restaurants, the law applies to those with 250 or more seats or a total facility size of at least 5,000 square feet. Here's what this means for those restaurants. It means they will need to establish a contract with a food recovery organization to donate all leftover or unsold edible food. As for how to find an appropriate food recovery organization, local governments must establish a network of edible food recovery organizations for restaurants and other impacted food generators to partner with. Restaurants and others under this mandate must establish a contract or written agreement with food recovery organizations and services to comply. Since the original law was signed into law over 7 years ago, the CRA has actively participated in the regulatory process at both the state and local level to mitigate the burden of this new requirement. Even with that, we know this will come with its own set of challenges. To help CRA members comply with this requirement, we have developed a resource for you to have easy access to your local county's food recovery program and find a list of edible food recovery organizations. Now, there are also those new laws more recently approved in this last legislative session that impact the employer community and take effect in 2024. We've made a members-only new laws document to make life easier. CRA members, you can access those resources by clicking on the links in the description below. Note, you will need to log in. That's the news you need to know. I'm Sabrina. See you back here next time.